So epee is a point-only weapon where you hit with the point on any part of the body. It has an incredibly short lockout time, so the defense is very, very strong.
Let me know if I'm too loud.
No, you're good. So joining us in the box now is Ari Simmons, one of the top U.S. epee fencers, and he is currently coaching at the U.S. Air Force Academy, and he's going to give us his perspective on this bout.
Thanks for having me, Andrew.
Yeah, of course.
Volume's all right?
Volume's good.
All right. Yeah, thanks for having me. So on the left, we have Vedran Markota, who is from UCSD. And on the right, we have Julian Spier from UIW.
And Markota is from Croatia, right?
Yeah, he was on the Junior World Championships team last year. He got
very
to compete
cool.
in Cairo. And Julian is more of a new face to the scene as far as results go, but he's been improving a lot. They're both fairly defensive fencers overall, so it's going to be an interesting dynamic. They both won their first match today with a lot of really good defensive fencing. It looks like Markota is going back, which is typically where he likes to spend a lot of the time on the strip. And I mean, frankly, they're both so large that it's a good strategy against, somebody when you have a really good size advantage.
Ooh. It's kind of a slow lunge.
Yeah, that was interesting. But as you can see, Spears just inviting him. That's Markota's game most of the time, where he doesn't react too much on your invitations.
Yeah, he almost doesn't do anything.
And then he waits till you get too close, and he does a nice little pair post here.
So in a bout like this, where you said both of them would much rather be on defense, how important is the first touch?
Probably, I would say, the first touch is always important, but especially here with Markota, if he gets the first touch, then that allows him
for a while
to continue going back. So long as his opponents do not get the lead, he's comfortable going back and continuing this game that he's strong at.
Ooh.
Right there, Julian Spier with a nice action, but you have to have a little more oomph on the riposte to finish strong. I think he has
interesting.
Fairly aesthetically pleasing fencing, I would say.
Yeah.
His actions are all very nice, but you have to really believe in them for them to score. Right there, same thing. Same thing. He's looking for the blade. He wants to flick. He got a few really nice ones on the Kung.
Yeah, he seems to have some really good counter time actions, although he's not actually landing any of them right now.
Yeah, I feel as though he's trying to feel it out. That was a really good touch.
That was nice. It was, again, it seemed a little slow.
Yeah, but you don't need to necessarily go fast. It's more about the timing and the fluidity of the action. Right there, it was perfect into Markota's style, where he gives the first action almost like a lean back as his response, and he lets his opponent fall short, and then he continues. So as he was leaning back, it looked like Julian Spier did a really good job of reading.
Lunging into that timing.
And going down. And again, with his size, his reach, so long as he's leading the action, neither of these guys need to be extremely explosive or even that strong. It's more a matter of who's controlling the distance and timing better.
Yeah.
And needless to say, neither of these guys use explosiveness as one of their strong suits.
That's a good point, actually.
We're not necessarily going to see a Speedy Gonzalez bout, whereas Matt Hahn, that was a good touch from
That was
Spier.
nice, yeah.
That's the type of action that he really thrives off of.
It was pretty cool that he was ready for that, because that's the first time that Markov has tried to do an action like that. Markota, sorry.
Honestly, I like the risk from Markota, but I don't think he noticed that Spier is just inviting with his legs. And that was the ideal situation for Spier.
And here's something interesting. This is the first time that Spears had a lead, and we said that he was a more defensive-minded fencer, but he's still trying to attack here.
I would say that's because he's still being defensive. Just because he's pushing doesn't mean he's attacking.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, although you could describe that as an attack, I would say that was a feint gone well.
That's funny.
I mean, he typically throws a lot of those out there, so there's no expectation of
Yeah, very low percentage, but safe actions.
Yeah, safe, especially if you guard your hand well, and your opponent's not characteristically gonna attack you on that preparation. You might as well go.
It's a numbers game at that point.
And here, even though he's pushing, he's working from the defense, as you saw there.
Yeah.
And it's just small steps in, and pulling the distance, making Markota fall short until he gets frustrated enough to go deep.
Yeah, it seems like he is basing most of this game off of counter time actions.
Yeah, that was good. Even there, I don't know if that. Do we have a replay up here or no?
We do not.
That looked like.
Yeah, he's asking if he hit the floor.
I don't know. Viewers, leave some feedback.
Maybe we can rewind. Yeah.
Video review, that looked like it was a double.
Yeah.
Just based off when the light went off. I do see what Markota was asking about, but it looked like Spier is actually able to bring his hand back up by the time the light went off. He's being very aggressive.
Yeah, he is.
That's
the end of the period. It's hard to see for us because the time is on a box that is so
pretty small. And I've destroyed my vision on computer screens.
So say we all.
Yeah. Fun fact, everyone. Andrew, the host here, used to have a high score on a game called Fruit Ninja.
Yeah, it was a world record.
It was a world record. So high score is definitely underselling it. High score in the world. So his eyes are definitely shredded from the screens. But yeah, so what you've seen here is Spier just sticking to his guns, sticking to his plan of continuously pushing Markota, which is good because Markota feels empowered by that. But
because it's kind of his happy spot.
Yeah,
however,
but Spier's not committing to anything all the way, other than that one good risk thigh touch that he got.
Yeah, his first one or second touch, right?
Yeah, either his first or second. And his counterattacking game is working really well. We'll see what Markota changes going into the second period. But if I was Spier, I would probably continue pushing and putting that pressure on Markota. And then maybe not even doing anything, like pushing and then just pulling to make him uncomfortable. Because at this point, Markota has to really come in.
He has to do something, exactly.
If I was Markota's game actually works very well, even if you're pushing. And I think he's comfortable going back because that's where he's comfortable. And he's a strong fencer, but it would honestly, in my opinion here, be more effective if he was to do the small steps. He's very relaxed overall. The small steps pushing down his opponent to his end of the strip. And you're not really going to see too much of that here because I think he's resorting to, following Spier because ultimately that is more comfortable for him. And I think that might not be as effective if Spier keeps his discipline up.
That's interesting.
So I don't know if it's too early to make a prediction, especially in men's epee, but
yeah, fair enough. That was
a
nice.
Good finish from Spier. Very smooth.
That was very smooth.
They had a nice little sequence of misses there, and then Spier just followed through. He stayed sharp. He stayed collected. And, especially in epee, where in foil you'll have some serious counter parry battles.
Yes,
epee,
in fighting.
That sequence right there is pretty tiring. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So for Spier to, keep his cool and be able to let go of a deep attack, that was really impressive. That was good. I like that.
And you have a game kind of similar to the way that Spier plays, right?
Yes, I would say that I definitely enjoy pushing and working off of counterattacks. Spier has quite a few inches on me height-wise.
Yeah.
But so I have to use a little bit more of my explosiveness.
Yep.
That was a good. Markota
nice.
Finally.
That was the first time he came out and did something.
Yeah. And he went on the preparation where he didn't have to commit to a flesh from far away, which was why he got hit the first time that he attacked on preparation. He waited till Spier got closer, a little more comfortable, and he just caught him on a nice attack right there.
That was really nice.
But yeah, I would say I fenced. Oh, snapped a blade.
Whoops.
We're gonna have a moment here while he switches blades. But yeah, I would say I fenced fairly similar to Spier. I have to rely on my explosiveness a little more, and I'd say flicks less and more of like poking type of actions to the hand and foot. And I rely on my flesh a lot more. Yeah. But the basis of the game, where you want to work from the defense, I'd say that is one of my comfort zones for sure.
Yeah, just with less height.
Oh yeah, definitely less height. Less height than both of these fencers. And I fenced both of them a handful of times at this point. Just kidding. Actually, I only fenced Markota one time at the NCAA championships last year. But I fenced Julian many times at this point. He was a camper actually at Notre Dame.
Oh, cool.
After my freshman year, I was a counselor at a Notre Dame summer camp, and he was 14 years old. He came with his mother.
Aw.
Yeah, very cute.
What region is he from?
There we go. That was
Nice touch.
Not that I'm cheering for either fencer, but
No, that was a nice
have
touch.
been very good. A lot of the singles in this bout have been fairly nice to watch.
It also seems like whatever's going on in the bout, Spier is the one who's dictating all the actions because he's being so proactive.
Yeah, Spier's definitely controlling the footwork. But in moments like that, with lack of discipline, lack of commitment, he got stuck in a very close distance to Markota with no plan to continue or to get out. And Markota's a fighter. He's really good at that. So Julian Spier's from, I believe, North Texas, but he had a lot of improvement in his fencing and really leveled up his training when he went to, he started commuting, actually, fairly often to go train with Abbas, I believe, Abbas Adel. Is that Abbas's? You know the Margarita Greets his coach?
Yeah, I do know him. I think it's Abbas, yeah.
So he works with a very strong women's epee fencer, Margarita Guzzi-Vincenti, who's one of the top front runners for this year's World Championship team for women's epee. So that's his main training partner before college. And they share the same coach, Abbas. And
You said he was from North Texas. Is he from Alliance?
no. So Alliance is South Texas.
Oh, whoops.
I believe he's from quite up north, like where he wouldn't really have a lot of club mates or clubs to go to really increase his level.
Ooh.
So here he's been back to the bout. Julian Spier is trying to continue his game, but he seems to have lost touch with pulling Markota, and he's actually getting very close to Markota as far as distance goes.
So less push and pull and more push right now.
Yeah.
So if you were him, maybe you'd back off a little bit. Maybe
I
like
would
he's
take
doing
smaller
right now.
steps. He's starting to move a lot more to compensate, and I would honestly, that was good.
That was
he
nice.
closed in there. He had a plan to finish all the way. It's the
And a little emotion from him too.
Yeah, the danger with Markota is when you get stuck in a halfway distance with no plan to continue all the way or no plan to break the distance, because Markota is very quick to finish when he realizes that his opponent is in what we can call maybe an off timing, where they've sort of done their action, they don't have a plan to continue.
That's interesting.
And he did that very well with Matthew Hahn. That was a good touch from Spier. There's a double, but he's changing lines, which is important. If I was Spier to break open this lead again, I would definitely work on trying to get Markota to search. Markota is definitely starting to control a lot more of the blade actions, and now he's going back, but now it's more of an inviting. So if I was Spier, that was
nice touch. That was nice.
Better. That was good.
He drew him out there a little bit better, but had a plan to, like you said,
that's perfect.
Yeah, get out.
Yeah, and he opened the distance slightly, which is why Markota didn't do a full depth lunge and fell completely short. So it was actually quite a nice pair of posts using the legs. And he's pushing it. Nice risk. Oh, pays off.
Yeah, that was nice.
Quite a risk.
He kind of made it look like he was just going to let the period go to time, but then...
From here, it looks like there are 2 seconds left.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, that was... And I think he knew that. And he's trying to...
He's just making him a little bit nervous.
That's good. That's trying to initiate the control that he lost during that period. That was a good comeback from Markota, just staying disciplined and, operating off of Spier's mistakes. But since Spier has been in control for most of this bout, lucky for him, he was able to reinitiate control through some pretty strong risks, strong actions. I honestly don't know if I would have done the same, where he started overworking with the feet. But honestly, after analyzing that a little bit, it seems like he was playing off the fact that Markota doesn't move very much. So he was trying to make himself, remember that you have to break the distance. And ultimately he did. He got out and he made Markota fall short. And then he's clear. Look at him. He's ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Bell guard out. 30 seconds left.
Yeah, that's kind of a power move.
This looks like a power. This looks familiar, Andrew.
It does.
Has he been on YouTube? Does he watch your channel?
Probably.
Oh my gosh. All right. So we'll see what happens here. Markota has not made too many changes.
So if you were these two, what would you be changing right now?
So if I was Markota, I would push. I'm like, oh, off the bat, nope, he's going back. So the issue here is Spier's still controlling. So Markota's best bet here is hoping Spier makes a mistake. Mm-hmm. And that's not necessarily going to work. That was, a mistake. He didn't break the distance. He stood there, and from something that was like short enough for an extension from Markota, he tried to counterattack with his arm bent. And you have to fully commit. A lot of epee especially is, there's so much target to hit, and fencers get really comfortable, just hoping that their opponent's going to come out. No one wants to commit. You'll get doubles. And in moments like that, there's no double to be had because Markota recognizes that. And he goes all the way. And, Spier calmed down a little bit. Now he's working from the defense again. It looks a little bit passive, but so long as he's ready, it might be good. So
this is the first time he's actually let Markota push him a little bit.
Markota is actually he just crossed Spiers on guard line for the first time this bout. So if I was Markota, that's what I would do.
Okay.
It's easy to say that after he scored a touch, right? But what I was going to say is I would push because Spier is starting to struggle with how to get more touches on Markota. Mm-hmm. And Markota can still fence defensively even as he's pushing. He's such a big guy. Well, like I said, going back is what's comfortable for him, but that's right there. That's what's going to happen. Spier remembers.
That was very similar to the previous touch, not previous, but two touches ago. But he actually moved backwards with it this time.
And it's that. Honestly, I think that Spier's game needs to be that simple if he's pushing. So if that's my answer for Spier. Just remember to break the distance or commit.
Nice touch, yes.
Which is basically echoing what I've been saying the whole bout.
Mm-hmm. And he has to do something and then not get stuck when he does it.
Because especially at that size, and he clearly has quite a repertoire of moves. He's able to do a lot of stuff.
That looked like he had really good timing, but
it was forced. It was off the guard line. He wanted to catch Markota, but he fell into his lunge. There was no power there. There was no explosiveness. And the idea was good, but Markota's ready to go. He's down 12-9. He's a fighter. He doesn't want to go down easily.
Yeah, you don't see actions off the line happen very often in epee, usually because the person is ready at that, very ready at that point.
Yep. Justin Yu and Curtis McDowell have some beautiful actions off the line.
They do.
That was a good touch from Spier. Honestly, like I said, Markota is not going to find success in this bout unless he breaks out of his own comfort zone and pushes, because Spier has been, even when it's not working, he's been very comfortable going.
Ooh.
I'm convinced by Markota's ability to be sharp, but I'm also convinced with the fact that Spier is letting one touch go and then scoring 1 to 2 of his own. So it's almost like a calibration for him, and that's a maturity thing. He'll grow out of it, I hope, because he's clearly a very talented fencer. Wow, when you watch him go, he moves very well for someone of that size.
Oh, nice touch.
Again, he's getting too close and staying in that critical distance.
Yes, he didn't move at all that time. No in, no out, just kind of stood there and tried to defend himself.
So Markota's been proving me wrong all bout. I've been saying he has to push. He's pushed
sticking to his guns.
He's sticking to his guns, and there's something respectable there because clearly he's still in the bout.
Yeah.
But
don't be too greedy now.
Yeah, we'll see. This is all about maturity for Spier. He's very young and talented, and late bloomer per se. Men's a beautiful touch from Spier.
Yep.
There he committed all the way. He made the conscious decision to not let himself fall short, to not let himself get stuck in a distance that's touchable without retreating. He decided to commit all the way in. That was really good. So here, if I was Markota, who's buying some time here.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I would probably push Spier because Spier really wants to finish this one out. He wants to close it out.
Yes,
I would put a little bit of pressure, try to get Spier to crack, and finish with a parry riposte as he's been doing so well. Maybe a counterattack as well, but Markota needs to put some pressure. Oh, right there.
Oh, my goodness.
And he could have had it right there. Spier shows some discipline. Let's see what happens. He's putting the pressure.
Yeah, calm down, buddy. That was nice.
Touch. Beautiful touch to win for Julian Spier.
Oh, nice touch.
That was a really, really fun bout to watch.
And we have our first individual champion of the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation ever.
Congratulations, Julian Spier.
Yeah.
That was very fun to watch.
That was fun to watch. That was a good bout.
Yeah.
As a saber fencer, I always like proactive epee fencing.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, that was a very interesting bout because the two of them are so different. Like, one very proactive, one very reactive.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. And
yeah.
That's why I say Spier has a lot of potential because he's still young. He's very inexperienced. This is his first podium finish, I believe, including NACs. I mean, he really, I think he maybe has gotten a top 16 at a junior NAC, which shows that he's able to win bouts, but he's really growing into his own. Yesterday, he really had some important wins.
That's great.
And he's going to NCAA championships for the first time as a sophomore, I believe. And wow, just good fencing. He's incredibly talented. He's for someone of that size, he just has so much in the wheelhouse. He's very mobile. He's pretty athletic. I mean, he must be 6'7". Look at that guy.
Yeah, he's tall.
He's humongous. So I'm really fairly impressed with how clean a lot of his fencing is. And I think in order to be successful in our sport, he's just going to need to add a little bit of discipline because fencing against some higher level fencers, for example, we mentioned, Justin Yu and Curtis McDowell, he's going to have a lot of trouble because those guys are not like Markota. They can go defensive. They can go to the back of their strip. They can go all the way to their opponent's side of the strip, and they don't mess around. When they go full-fledged, full force, all the way to the body, all the way to the toe, and they're much more explosive. So in order to keep up with those guys, Spier is going to need to add a little bit of discipline to his game. He moves so well, and if he's able to really, hone in his footwork, some of his discipline, and remember where he is on the strip distance-wise, he could be very dangerous in the men's epee scene. Markota, he's more solidified into his fencing, a slightly more mature fencer. Markota needs to become more comfortable pushing his opponents.
Yes, I agree.
And add a little bit more dynamicism to his deep attacks. But Markota, you're going to find much more consistency in his fencing as he's fairly developed. He's more mature. But again, that young fire wins out here. And it was really, really cool to see Spier create a lot of different touches throughout the day, throughout both of these days. I mean, you were here both days.